It's about everything. Suicide, despair, where did our hope go? Lost hope, that's it, lost hope.
The soul of Detroit invites you
won't leave me
to return to the weekend that started it all. Remember the music, the friendship, and the romance.
Sean and I made love the night before he died. It was fantastic.
The laughter and the tears.
I feel like I was at my best when I was with you people.
Not me. Getting away from you people is the best thing ever happened to me.
You asked it around, you're touching around my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You aren't qualified, Emil.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Albert?
Hey kids, it's your old pal ML Elric. And when I say old pal, I'm getting ready to attend my 40th high school reunion this weekend. I really am that old. And what's crazy to me, beyond the fact that I've lived this long, is that I'm actually going to attend my high school reunion because I hated high school, but I'm going to go anyway.
And a couple questions. Have you ever been to any reunion?
Yes, my fifth high school reunion, I got an invite, and I just wrote ha 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 all over the invite. Like there's no way I would ever go to that. And then I lived, I think, I was in New Hampshire for my 10th high school reunion, and for my 20th, I'd moved back to Detroit, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But by then, my daughters had started playing sports, and they played at a rink in Detroit that's mainly populated by Grosse Pointe families playing hockey there. And I started coaching, and I started running into people who I had known from high school and started to think, well, maybe it wasn't so bad after all. And so I went to the reunion, and I had an amazing time. I could not believe
well, yeah, you're older.
Time I had. So I'm like, okay.
Why did you hate high school so much? Were you picked on? Were you bullied?
I don't. Oh, by the way, we should probably tell you who our special guest is here. And by special, I mean needs. Tresa Baldas, who's also having a 40th high school reunion coming up soon. She graduated from high school when she was 8.
Aw. It's very nice.
Yeah.
See, he can say nice things.
And Mark Fellhauer,
they're all exaggerated BS.
Just a baby. He's just a child, just a whelp. So we don't know. He's probably coming up on his 10th high school reunion.
Me?
Yeah.
Not only have I never been to a reunion, my class has never even had a reunion. There's never been one organized. I mean, we would have just passed 30 years. Never had it. I think there's a reason for it, but
it usually means your class president was either the biggest jock or the biggest dirtbag, because they're the ones who are supposed to keep this going. And
or he got kicked out of school, so really nobody was president anymore. There's a little bit of incident when I was a senior in high school, and I went to a really small Catholic school in Ann Arbor.
St. Francis, right?
That was my elementary school. I had the same 5th grade teacher as Jim Harbaugh. Bloop. Sister Diane.
And
great
Jim
lady.
Can revisit there in 14 years, I think, right?
Probably.
Show cause?
So as a senior, we had a big retreat, and there was only, I think, 70 people in our class, and it was a big, Catholic retreat, and somebody brought weed, and a lot of people smoked weed, and it became the biggest scandal to the point where it was like a third of the class wasn't allowed to participate in anything graduating.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't allowed to do the actual ceremony. I mean, that was their punishment. And I learned 2 lessons. Number one was the president of our class was like, I don't want to participate in anything, and just kind of was expelled. Like, never really got his diploma from there. And then the other thing I learned is I had a buddy who's like, nope, didn't do it. And they're like, we're going to drug test you. He's like, fine, go ahead. And spent the whole night drinking Gold Seal to clean his urine. Took a drug test and passed. So
Gold Seal? What the hell's Gold Seal?
It's something you drink a lot of water and it cleans out your system to pass a drug test. So he did that. So the lesson I learned was, don't admit to anything until you have to.
Wow.
Is that a good lesson or no?
Yes.
Thank you, Tresa.
It depends.
You're welcome.
It depends who the authority is. If
well,
it's in Guantanamo, they're going to stick your head in some water, and you may as well just get it over
Well,
right now.
I had one friend that was a hothead, and he quit, didn't get his diploma. And then I had another guy that's like, nope, you can't prove anything until you can prove it. And he graduated and walked and participated in everything with us.
So your buddy was the class president? That's
Well, I mean, in a school that small, you're all kind of friends.
really. Right. We had over 400 graduates, and I didn't feel like I had that many friends in there. But
Well, that sounds like a you issue.
oh, it absolutely was, and there were some dicks. But this episode is brought to you by Luke Nowacki, who will always be your friend and help you come up with a better future. He'll help you come up with a plan for retirement, for investing. He has strategies. He will share them with you. Check out Luke. We'll tell you how later on in the show. Of course, the Cadger Cafe, if you're not going to your high school reunion, it's Muscle Beach Music Festival this weekend. That's a great place to go. Or maybe you do both. Maybe you meet some friends at your reunion, then you go over to the music festival, have a good time, whatever. We'll tell you what's going on there later in the show, and you can always find out more at cadjucafe.com. And Patreon. Some of you have donated one time. Sean sent us something, not our Sean. He doesn't even come in anymore. But we do have a donation from Sean. And then D, who I think is an international soulmate, sent us became one of our Patreon subscribers. So we really appreciate it when you guys reach across the pond or just reach across your lap to that wallet and make a small donation to keep us coming back week after week. So thank you very much. We'll tell you how to do that later on in the show too. But for as much as I love new wave music, and I drove here in my 85 Buick Riviera, you would think that 1985 was like the greatest year of my life. And it really only was because I got out of high school. I hated high school.
Why?
I am the only person from my high school who probably gained 65 pounds and needed to, because I went to high school. I love sports. I always played sports, but I went to this big high school, Grosse Pointe South, at 5 foot and 130 pounds. So I was like a little butterball.
Oh.
And I graduated
So you were
6 foot
on.
and 130 pounds. No, it wasn't picked on. I think this is one of the things, like I kind of feel like I'm ahead of my time, like a millennial, because I think the thing that was really hard was you kind of felt invisible. You felt ignored. If you weren't, at that time, this was the Reagan Revolution, if you weren't wearing pink and green, if you didn't have, a plaid blazer or those terrible patch pants that they would sell in Land's End, or you didn't go to the League Shop or Hickey's and buy all these very gross, pointy, snooty kind of country club type clothes, you felt invisible. And I was, I'd had a job since I was 11. I was doing my paper route, which I would use to save up to go buy a new pair of brown corduroys at the Gap.
That's not an exclusive thing for your high school, though. That's a lot of high schools are like that. They're very cliquey.
No, but I think
Did you know
that's
that he walked to school in like 10 feet of snow?
Both way, uphill both ways.
Yeah, both ways.
Actually, I rode my bike through the snow 2.5 miles with a saxophone on the back of it. But
See, that sounds about right. So
I dragged a kid in a wheelchair because they needed to get there. But no, Tresa was the one who helped the kid with a disability, which we got to get her to tell us about that. It's a true story. Normally, she tried to crush people's hopes and dreams. At least that's been my experience. But she actually was helpful in high school. But I think my experience, and one of the reasons why I've kind of come around on high school, is because I realized a lot of my misery was my own. You feel like you're excluded. You feel like you're not a part of something. You feel like nobody likes you. And you kind of, because you have so little life experience, or maybe because you want to be big man on campus and you're not, because you're either not fast enough, not good looking enough, not rich enough, not strong enough, not funny enough, whatever. You feel like everybody watches you and thinks, there goes a piece of crap. And you kind of realize over time, it's like,
we don't care about you.
yeah, it's like, oh, my hair looks funny. It's like, nobody's paying attention to your hair.
No.
Nobody
You're the one
cares.
that defines enough anyway. So.
Yeah. And you kind of, I think over time, when you start to, like when I think back on high school, I think about how many friends I had in high school. When I think about, I run into people who were kind of a big deal in high school. I'm like, oh, I hated high school. Like, well, why was that? I said, well, this is the way I felt. I was like, wow, we never thought that. And I was like, and the couple were like, oh yeah, you were totally right. So you got to avoid them. But I think you kind of, almost graduate from those feelings if you're able to reconnect with some people and talk about it and think about it.
You're adults now.
Yeah, I mean, it's and maybe it's the same way, but as adults, you know, we don't say all that horrible shit we did as kids because we know, oh no, you can't talk that way. But kids like, oh yeah, you know, we say what we have to say. You know, that's who we are. I don't know. It's just,
no, they do. They just do it online now.
Yeah, it's a weird experience, and I do think that a lot of our kids today feel the way I felt in the 1980s. And if you're listening, I don't know if our demographic is young kids. I hope not with the language Sean uses on a regular basis. But you're going to get over it. It's not that big a deal. You know, 40 years later, you'll kind of be looking forward to it, which is weird. It seems strange.
So you're looking, well, I mean, what are you looking forward to? Just people you haven't seen? You want to see how successful they are or are not? I mean, is there Schadenfreude? Is that the word? Where you want
Schadenfreude. No, I'm looking forward to all the people who gained 65 pounds or shouldn't have. I mean,
there you go. That's really what it's about, right?
Say, hey, can we get our picture taken together, you know?
It kind of is the same. It's just your position in life has changed, and so is theirs.
And people
it's a reorganization.
People will see me and they say, who's that guy next to the Thanksgiving Day float? And I'll be like, okay, you know, sweet revenge. No, I don't know. I think, you know, the more people I run into, the more I realize it wasn't that bad. And you run into people that you would never, ever see. And it's kind of why I like to keep in touch with old friends and even old girlfriends is there's things in your life that you share with people and you don't want to lose track of those. You don't want to be the only person who's the keeper of the flame. And Tresa, you know, loves it when I hang out with old girlfriends. It's great.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's got to be.
We've been to weddings of old girlfriends together.
Now, Tresa hangs out with old boyfriends, but only on visitation days.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, Tresa, you've been to a wedding of one of his ex-girlfriends?
Yes. And I actually cursed him on that trip. We were in Montreal and we were going to New Hampshire. And we were going to a wedding of a girl he dated when he lived in New Hampshire. And when we left Montreal,
you know, that doesn't narrow it down. There was only one single woman in New Hampshire, so
yes. Anyway,
kind of identify.
We're
You're
driving
doxing
from
him.
Montreal to New Hampshire, and I don't know if it was half the way there, quarter of the way. And he said, "Wait a minute, where's my suit?" I said, "I don't know. I'm not responsible for your suit." And he realized he had left his suit back at my aunt's house in Montreal, and he had nothing to wear to the wedding. And
so we
had to stop at a plaza along the way, and he went to I don't know if it was a TJ Maxx, a JC Penney. I think you got your shoes at Payless. He had nothing to wear to this wedding, but anyway.
I mean, it's a little different too. It's a wedding. It's not like an old flame is going to be rekindled. I mean, hopefully
that's what you'd think, but
yeah. We currently hang out with one of his ex-girlfriends.
Really?
It's yeah. She's actually very cool. I do like her. She's fun.
Well, you won though, right? I mean, don't you look at it that way?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
We share stories, and she was telling a story recently. Yes, Mike, go ahead, get uncomfortable.
I
now
was just
going to
say that's the best part about it is you can tell he's very uncomfortable.
Where's Sean?
So we were out a couple weekends ago, and she was talking about something she did or didn't do, and she said, "Oh no, I wasn't going to be that person." I said, "Which explains why I'm with him and you're not."
Ooh.
So anyway, I was snarky, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was a barrel. That was at Soul Nights. That's what you missed. Patreon subscribers, if you had come out for Soul Night, it would have been
Mark, you'll get a kick out of this. We both of us showed up. Mike had a Halloween party, and I knew she was going to be there, and I was going to be there. She knew who I was. I knew who she was, and we both went dressed as French maids.
Oh, really? Well, then I feel like he wins on both accords.
Yeah, as I said, things got a lot better after high school. Yeah. You know, I almost didn't get to graduate with my class because I got caught pulling a prank with my buddy Chris King. We had gone to, it was like the last week or two of school, and we went into all the women's bathrooms and put black shoe polish on the toilet seats. And we thought that was really clever and all that.
Did you really do this?
Yeah, and we got.
This is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah, well, it's been expunged, but we got caught coming out of like the last bathroom, and then we had to go see Mr. Lemieux, who was the assistant principal. Like in most schools, the assistant principal was the disciplinarian, And he was a really stern guy. He had this sweet porn stash. He was totally, he'd walk down the hall and he's like, "It's Lemieux."
As in a mustache. He didn't have a stack of penthouse in his office.
It was 1985. They may have confiscated him. Who knows? They go in those lockers. And he was like, he walked down the hall. It's like, "It's Lemieux. It's Lemieux." And when we got called in the office, totally cool dude. He was laughing. He's like, "Can you believe what these guys?" He's like, "Okay, boys, now you're in trouble." It's like, oh, shit. We ended up having to sweep up all the halls. And I went to a massive high school. When we were sweeping the halls with everything that people had thrown out of their lockers, we had like those industrial push brooms. And there was like mountains of shit we're pushing. And then we had to clean the attic out in this school that was built in like the 20s. I have no idea how much friable material are in my lungs from cleaning out the attic in this place. But looking back on it, you got 30 people thrown out of your graduation. That's great. It's over faster. If I had been bounced from my graduation, it would have been awesome because I wouldn't have to sit through 400 names being read while they play Pomp and Circumstance over and over and over and over. And sweet Jesus, it's never going to end. And those speeches and
yeah, they're not the most exciting things to attend.
No, they drag on. And back then you're wearing like a polyester drape. It was like a shower curtain and it's hot out. So you're just sweating and it's miserable.
I remember going to a University of Michigan graduation and the speaker, and I bring this up because the intro was The Big Chill. And the speaker mentioned and started basically doing a commercial for The Big Chill. Like,
oh, geez.
You're all going to want to watch this and because there's a lot of Michigan references and it's about friendships and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, okay. So I watched it. I was so bored by that movie.
I've never watched it.
So bored by it. I don't know. I just like, this is not a new story.
Yeah, a bunch of old farts get together for a weekend talking about who screwed who and then drinking wine. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, not the greatest movie.
It's bad enough to live a weekend like that, let alone watch Kevin Kline do it.
People love that movie, though. I don't know why. I don't get it.
Yeah.
They sit on their ass.
I like it because it popularized the song, what is it? You can't always get what you want.
Oh, the Stones?
Yeah, because those Rolling Stones.
Good soundtrack in that movie.
Rolling Stones got a break there. No one had really been following their music very much until.
But that, what? People who otherwise didn't maybe watch that movie and thought, oh, I like this song. But that's what I liked about the movie was that one song, and that's it.
Teresa, did you hate high school as much as Elric did?
Actually, I didn't. I was, by my senior year, I was a band nerd.
Okay.
But I was also, you talk about feeling invisible, living on the outside. I was friends with pretty much everybody. I was friends with the jocks. I was friends with the band kids.
Was it a big school?
What's that?
Was
Muskegon High School.
Muskegon, okay.
The Big Reds. It was a big school.
Pretty huge, yeah.
It was a big red. That's right. Big school. And, but I'm going to talk, we've never, like you, Mark, we've never had a class reunion.
It's so weird.
And ours is coming up the week after Mike's. It's our 40th. And I am going to go. And the reason I'm going to go is because I'm going to lift what I consider a curse on my class.
Oh.
So my senior year in high school, I ran for vice president of my class. And I wanted this because I knew the one job of the vice president was to plan future reunions. I love to entertain. I love throwing parties. I was even that way when I was younger. Well, I didn't win. And I was so pissed off. I said, mark my words, we will never have a class reunion. It's been 40 years and we still have not. So I'm going to go and tell that story and lift the curse on my class.
Did you organize?
Or maybe I won't go.
Did you organize this one?
No, I did not.
Really?
I every year I watch people on Facebook try, and
that's the same thing. Yeah.
And I just sit there and I'm like, should have voted me, back in 1985.
You're punishing
I would have
them?
had this down. I would have had this nailed. I'm always supportive of people who try to do stuff, though. I did feel bad for them, but in the back of my mind, I'm like,
Nothing like a 40-year punishment.
Totally. No, it's my curse. But yeah, no, high school was, I think I experienced a lot of what you guys call him ML. I'm going to call him Mike. What Mike said to you. You walk around and you feel, I never felt invisible because I was too loud to be invisible. And that's still kind of the case. But I was different for sure. Mike and I have talked about this a lot at home. I grew up, in a Greek house. So I'm 100% Greek. And I always felt different from all the American kids. And all I ever wanted to do was be American. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to be that American kid, to have that American experience. And so I always felt different just because of that. Now I'm older and I'm clinging to my Greek roots like I never have before. But
are you first generation? Did your parents?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes. And I'll share with the reader, I was born here, but I was conceived in Montreal, Canada. My mom.
I hope ICE is listening.
No, I want to raise this point. Under the current, if these, I was born here. My parents were traveling. They were coming to Michigan to visit a sick uncle who was dying of cancer. And my mom had me. So technically what you could call me an anchor baby. But after my uncle died, my parents ended up staying in Michigan. They became American citizens. And
wow.
I was natural, because I was born here. But looking at what's going on now, if that scenario happened now, I'd be sent back to Canada.
I'm going to need you to sign some paperwork before you go because we just need to get those accounts in my name. It sounds like would be a really good idea.
My parents always told me I was conceived on a cruise ship, so I guess that's international waters. I don't know. Do I not have a home? I don't know why.
So,
why would they tell me?
All kinds of semen on that trip.
Yeah. Oh, you're sick.
I want a low
Working
hanging
on the
fruit joke.
Working on the boat. Would you prefer porters? Is that the right
Working on the
terminology?
boat. They were on vacation.
Oh, no, I meant the seamen. What did you think I was talking about?
Seamen.
And the sea women who worked there. When I was in high school, it prepared me to be an investigative reporter because I always tell people, being an unpopular dick, you get over that by the time you're 18, you can pretty much cover any mayoral press conference and not feel weird. But Tresa did something extraordinary when she was in high school with one of her fellow marching band members, which I always make fun of her for this. But when I think about it, I'm like, God, you used to be a really wonderful person. I don't know what happened, but this was...
You happened.
I married you. I met you. You tainted me. I'm tainted goods now.
Yeah, thanks. But, nice blaming the victim. But
that's right.
But go ahead and tell this story for the 1 millionth time. But it's actually a pretty good story.
So my senior year in high school, a girl moved into our high school. She was, I want to say, maybe a sophomore. I don't know. But anyway, she was blind since birth, but she played the flute. And she wanted to be in the marching band. I wish she'd moved to my
high school. I could have got a prom date.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, my band instructor, who I had major crush on, pulled me aside one day and he said, Tresa, I'm going to assign you to Lisa. I want you to work with her and help her be in the marching band. And I'm thinking, for a second, I was excited he picked me, but also horrified because I didn't know how, I've never been around a blind person before, let alone I was in one of those marching bands that was very serious. We went on national competitions. It looked more like a university marching band with rotations and all that. So he said, and I knew my senior year in high school, I wasn't going to get to play in any of the shows because I would have to hold her hand to assist in her walking around the field so she didn't go the wrong way. But this girl was so brilliant that by the end of the year, I didn't have to hold her hand at all. She would follow my voice around the field. And the way that I taught her the formations was I went and bought like metal sheets of paper and I poked holes in it. And I said, this is the way the band is moving right now. We're going in a circle here. We're going in a V here. This is where you are. And she would feel her fingers around the bumps I created with a pen. Because, I became a teacher for the blind.
Baldus Braille.
That was your own idea, though? I mean, you came up with it?
I came up with it, yeah. It was just like, clever. Okay, let's do this. But anyway, she did not want anybody feeling sorry for herself. So I was able to joke around with her a lot and play pranks on her. This is terrible, but she thought it was funny. So nobody judged me when I tell the story. But she would go sit in her seat and her flute was always underneath her chair. So I would move it to a different chair just to mess with her. And, and she would sit down and she's like, where's my flute? Where's my flute? And she'd have to get up and it would be a pant, and then she'd just start yelling, Tresa, like, I know you did this. And she just appreciated that I wasn't afraid to have fun. Yeah. And she, in fact, I heard from her recently. I mean, she plays the saxophone, she plays piano. She's just brilliant. And talking about how much times have changed. They used to put her on the special education bus for rides to and from school back then. And so she pulled me aside and she said, listen, I hate being on that bus. I know I can't see, but I'm not slow. I can follow her, so I gave her rides instead so she wouldn't have to go on the bus.
Wow.
Home from school, not to, but home from school I did. And it just, God, I could go on about her like crazy. There was a boy that all the girls had a crush on, but she didn't know because she couldn't see. And she was over my house one night and she said to me, and this kid happened to call my house. She's like, oh my God. And I'll throw his name there. She's like, is that Jeff Fry? And I said, yeah. She said, oh, he's such a dream. I'm like, how do you know? Like, you can't see him. And she said, I can tell by like his voice. I can tell by his mannerisms, the way he can, sometimes he would help her. She would feel how tall he was or whatever, but she instinctively knew this. And we didn't talk about him around her. So it wasn't like, because she was so new. And she'd come over to our house and feel things like my mom's tablecloths or, to get a feel for the house and how we lived. Anyway, I could go on about Lisa Sullivan for a year. Lisa, this one's for you.
Is she going to the reunion?
She's younger than me.
Oh,
she wasn't a senior. Yeah.
Is Jeff your age? Is Jeff going to the reunion?
In prison?
I don't think so. Jeff has some high important job in the government. No one's allowed to know where he is or anything. Yeah.
That's a cover.
Yeah. So he
creep. That's when he's working somewhere.
No.
Got doged.
He got doged.
Yeah, he's with USAID. It's like, yeah, sorry, pal. So Tresa was much nicer than I was in high school. Although I did play saxophone in high school, and based on the way I read music,
she's much nicer now.
They thought I was blind, but that was just there was a lack of talent.
Mike says that I was nicer, but in reality, I really wasn't.
She's horrible.
I come across as nice, and this isn't going to be
consistent through line in this story.
I don't know if I believe this, but go ahead.
No, this one actually may make me cry, but I won't. I always run into people. I'm like, was I nice in high school? Like, I don't really remember. And some people be like, you were a bitch, or I remember you were nice to everybody. Blah, it's a mixed bag, whatever. But there was one year, and it was. Actually, we were younger. I think it was 8th grade, but a major fight went out at school between like the toughest kid at school and the weakest girl, because this girl went around and said something to the effect of Tresa Baldas is a bitch and anyone who hangs around with her is a bitch. So basically anyone who had anything to do with me was like, well, she's talking about me. Well, this real tough girl.
Yeah, how many Tresa Baldases were there in school? They had to be talking about you, right?
This is a junior high of maybe 400 or 500. It was a big junior high, and this real tough girl heard it, and she starts following this girl home from school, and it was a mob. There were like 200 kids walking down the street, and they start. The weaker girl. I won't give names here, but she starts
Melissa
pushing her.
Jones.
The shy girl, the underdog in this story, her dad pulls up in a car and he gets out and tells his daughter, fight her. And then they just start fighting, and this tough girl just starts beating the crap out of this girl. And I'm like in tears. I'm like, oh my God, will somebody call the police? I felt guilty about it all. And then the dad gets into a fight with the other girls. It was like the most horrific scene. It was terrible. I went home and I bawled and I bawled and I bawled. Well, anyway, fast forward to the future. I told my daughters this story. And last year on my daughter's birthday, my oldest daughter, Emily, she said, Mom, there's only one thing I want for my birthday. I said, what? She said, I want you to call that girl.
Wow.
Who got in that fight and apologize to her. And I did. I reached out to her. I found her through Facebook, and I asked, and she said to me, she's like, I harbor nothing, I have no hard feelings towards you. I'm like, oh my God, I've carried that. I'm like, I was terrible. I was young. I was naive. She said, well, for what it's worth, I've never held anything against you, so don't worry about it. And, but damn, that was cool. Awful.
Those other kids killed her dad, so no point in apologizing to him. But
yeah,
I'm confused. Was it the bully who was your friend, or the weak girl? Who got beaten and for why? The weak kid got beaten, but why'd she get beaten?
The weak kid got beaten by the tough girl. Now the tough girl really wasn't a bully.
Why? Because she was saying you were a bitch?
because she said Tresa Baldas is a bitch and so is everyone who hangs around with her. So
Okay.
this tough girl
So
who's
you're
just
friends
looking
with a
for any
bully.
reason to beat somebody up.
You're friends
And
with the
she was-
tough girl.
She was like super skinny, but like one of those gangly tough. Like you did not want to mess with her.
She doesn't know
and
where
this was a tough
we
junior
live,
high that I went to. My
does
parents
she?
ended up moving. I went to a different school, but there were knife fights in the cafeteria, and it was a rough crowd. But I will never forget what that poor girl and her dad. I mean, how awful. I mean, how I went home, and more than anything, I was embarrassed, thinking, oh my God, what if my dad pulled up? And what if my dad got his ass beat by a high school kid sticking up for his sister? And it was just all so embarrassing. And I felt like I was the cause, because I didn't have to let people know that she said that about me. But I did. I said, hey, did you hear so-and-so said I was a bitch and everyone associated me was a bitch too? And then the word just spread.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that wasn't your intent, though. You didn't know that was going to happen.
I stuck up for.
I didn't.
I stuck up for one of the most picked on kids in my school for a while. So I guess
Of course you did.
I did that. I did that too.
Opposites attract.
what heroes
Neither of
do.
us got our ass beat, but he did turn out to be a real strange dude. But it's amazing what would be said
Imagine
to kids.
if you
high
allowed him
school.
to be picked on. Maybe he'd be well adjusted today.
Oh, you mean he would have got over it?
Instead of being remaining a strange dude.
He would have manned up. I don't know. I don't know where he is now, but
Maybe you'll see him this weekend.
But it was high school then, and maybe now too, is unless you were one of the cool kids or one of the jocks, or you were just a brain and you were above it all, you kind of didn't want to you kind of felt bummed out that you didn't get noticed, but at the same time you're kind of glad to fly under the radar, because the things people would say to kids back then. We had a kid that they called Retardo because his last name kind of rhymed with that. There were people that had these horrible nicknames either because they were a little overweight or they didn't dress well, and they were just like referred to by these nicknames in regular conversation, probably where they heard it, and maybe they may have been referred to that directly to their face. And you think about that, and this is like one of the most formative times in your whole life, and to go through that, it must have been incredibly traumatic. And when you think about that stuff and the things that kids used to say without thinking twice about it, I mean, everybody was a fag or this or that, and
yeah, but that was wasn't that just a put down? I mean,
no, I mean it had no meaning, because everybody was that. So if there was a gay person, you didn't call him that because that you'd call him something else, because
it's funny,
and nobody knew if anybody was gay, because nobody really. But we and again, I went to Grosse Pointe South, so this was the opposite of Muskegon High School. This was about as bougie as it gets. But I remember I had a friend who had a shotgun in his locker. He carried a 38.
What?
Yeah, that he said he used to shoot dogs on his way home because he lived in Detroit and he was sneaking into school in Grosse Pointe. I mean, there was shit like that in
Is he
school.
going to be at the reunion?
I don't know. I'll look for him. That's why I'm not naming him.
Maybe he'll bring a shotgun.
Guys, I gotta get going, but I'm going to give one more ML story.
Please
here.
do. Yes.
Thanks, Teresa. Thanks for coming. It brought to you by Luke
It's a
Nowacki.
good one where he talked about sticking up for people. You were invited to speak, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe more than a couple of years ago, at some Grosse Pointe School's graduation ceremony. It wasn't high school. I think they were younger. And he went to that, and his speech to the kids was about, he delivered essentially this message. He said, listen, for all of you kids out there who have, great lives, you got friends, you're popular, you've got a reason to go to school, this speech isn't for you. This is for the kid who's living a miserable life, who hates coming to school, who feels lonely or unnoticed, but he shows up anyways. So, you're like, that's the kid you got to think about. And I think you encourage them to make sure to reach out to the kid who's like sitting at the cafeteria table alone.
Mm-hmm. I said, go get a raincoat.
I always thought that was probably one of the most, you've done a lot of work as a journalist. We can applaud you and all this, but when I look back on things you've done, and I think about that speech all the time. And you told those kids, remember the kids sitting alone at the table. And your girls picked that up, because that's how my girls are. So while high school, middle school, junior, all that can be just a nightmare. We get older and we're like, okay, we're better now. We should be better now.
That's what's hilarious.
I didn't want to leave the program without getting out his message that he delivered to those kids that day.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny looking back, all the stuff that seemed so important then means
Totally.
absolutely nothing, even 5 years, 6 years out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so
Just
Yeah.
life gets better, life gets different, life evolves. It's
Always
just so,
gets
yeah.
better.
if you're
Much better.
keeping score at home, if you're blind, Tresa will look out for you. If you're not, I will. That's it. But no,
All right, I gotta go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Every
All right.
time I go
Bye.
speak to a class, a school, I always try and tell the kids, I'm like, I know there's a lot of you guys out there that feel like you're alone, that nobody's experienced what you've experienced, that there's nobody to talk to. And the truth is, a lot of us felt that way, and you're not alone. And in fact, we're in the majority. And whatever you're feeling, it's happened to somebody before. You know, I'm thinking about Wetzel last week with this
I know,
young man
I know.
who took his life up north. Yeah,
Marquette.
he didn't have enough experience. He didn't know who to turn to. It felt like his life was over because something embarrassing had happened. The truth is, every single one of us has been through that. Every single person, even these kids that we all envy. I mean, I went to school with some of those privileged kids you'll ever meet in Michigan, and I think the fatality rate in our classes was off the charts because you had kids who were crashing fancy cars, you had kids who were ODing, you had kids who were doing stuff because they had everything and it was too much too soon. And instead of being, boy, I wish I could be like so-and-so, you're like, thank God I didn't end up, succumbing to those temptations and having all those opportunities to do too much.
Struggling is a good thing when you're on the end of it.
It is a good
whatever
thing.
the struggle is, when you get to the end of it, you'll look back and be like,
Yeah,
okay.
but if you're the
That sucks, but I'm probably learned and I'm better for it.
if you go into a room and you see one person sitting there by themselves, at least say hey to them because it may make their day, or they may just say, "Beat it, I'm on my phone."
Or they'll say, I got a shotgun in my locker. I'm gonna shoot. Then stay away from that person, right?
He actually was a really good guy, but
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek?
Also, stay away from that guy that hung out with the dude with the shotgun in his locker room. Said he's a good guy.
oh, dude, no, the guy who hung out with him was harmless. Believe me, there was no threat there. Although one time Chris Ledbetter and I got into it in gym class. It was like Clash of the Ants. He was a super good. And then I think me and Troy, Chris Brown maybe got into it.
Chris Brown?
Not Chris Brown. Cliff Brown. And anyway, some kid and I.
I love old names.
In jazz band class.
Random names.
Whatever. It's very bad. But I do have to tell you this because I can't put this out there enough. But after high school, my life could have been over. And the reason why I want to share this is because this person showed me incredible grace, and I've been appreciative of it every minute of my life since. We were idiots and we had beefs, and you have friends and you fight with your friends. And we decided one night after a party to go do some lawn jobs to a friend's house. And it was a shitty thing to do, and it was terrible. And of course, we got caught. I got in a high-speed chase. My dad almost shot me in the face, et cetera, et cetera. And it all ended up with the dad of this kid saying, you did this, come over to my house and see me. And this dude, let me tell you, this dude was a big dude. His name's Mr. Binder. Big dude, scary dude. And I stood on his destroyed lawn, beautiful home. He took care of his property. We totally annihilated it. And I said, I'm sorry, can I fix this? Whatever. His kid wanted to kill me, as he should have. And he said, just tell me why you did it and admit it. And I said, well, your son and I were good friends, and then we got into a beef, and then I, went too far. And his son, by the way, great guy, would have killed me. This guy was built like McGilly Gorilla. And again, I was 140 pounds, maybe, if I was soaking wet. And by then I'm 6 foot tall. So it's like, I look like a swizzle stick. And this guy said, you know what? When I was a kid, I did some stupid shit. I got shot in the back.
Oh, wow.
With rock salt or buckshot because they were doing something, and some guy, opened a double barrel on him. And he said, you came here, you admitted what you did. I want you to leave, but I'm not going to press charges. And I was a week or two away from going to college. And this was in Grosse Pointe Park. Now, I went to my dad trying to hide out at his place. He lived in Detroit. That's where I almost got shot in the face because he came busting through the back door with with his 38, and totally naked, by the way, because it was the middle of the night. And the thing I remember was almost getting shot in the face, and then he turned to my friend as he's like still shaking from almost killing his kid, and he said to him, he's like, I usually dress better before I answer the door. And then he goes upstairs and puts on a robe or something like that. And then
That's a good line.
Yeah. Then he wasn't a great guy, but he was a funny guy. But then I got reamed, and I told him, I said, Dad, this is bullshit. I got the cops calling me. They're squeezing me. They're trying to get me to give people up, doing all this other shit. I said, that's not the way it's supposed to be. He said, no. That's the way it's supposed to work. He's like, on this side of Mac, nobody gives a shit about something like that. That's nothing. But over there, you broke the law, and they're enforcing the law, and that's the way it's supposed to work. And I was like, I learned two things. One, don't ever do shit in Grosse Pointe again. And two, you can do the same thing in two jurisdictions, and it may be your ass in another place. It may just be another tricky day that nobody knows about or cares about. But Mr. Bender could have stopped my life right there, and he had my life in his hand, and he could have crushed it like a piece of scrap paper, and instead he opened it and he set me free. And every time I think about that,
but that's because you took responsibility, right? You showed up. You don't think that's why?
Like
if you were a punk about it.
I think if I hadn't stood up, he would have, I would have felt the full weight of the law. But at the same time, God, this guy did nothing to deserve this. We were complete assholes. We inflicted tremendous vandalism at great cost to his front yard that he was going to have to fix and everything. We insulted his family. We violated his home. I mean, this was an egregious thing. I mean, I would have convicted me after 2 minutes of deliberation if I was on the jury. And he had been there before, and he recognized that stupid kids do stupid things, and he let me go. And I think about that whenever I have that ability to show some grace to somebody. People who are mayors probably might not understand this, but Mr. Bender, he gave me my life, and I'm forever grateful for it. And it's one of those high school things that you think about. You do stupid shit, driving the way you do, doing the things you do. I almost went out on a canoe at a party in Lake St. Clair when we had been drinking. I'd been dead in the brushes with death and the things to get here. It's unbelievable. So I don't know. Maybe I'm going because I'm still alive. I don't think that's why I'm going to the reunion, but I think about Mr. Bender all the time, and his son, and how ashamed and sorry I am. And his son has shown me grace over the years too. And it's
crazy that it's stuck with you.
People who do things like that are, they are so much better than me. I mean, there's a lot of people in that category, but they are at the very, very top. So anyway, that's amazing to me to think about it. But yeah, oh man. And that time I probably would have been locked up overnight in the Grosse Pointe jail. The other time I got out, but that's another story for another day. Hey, listen, if you're planning your future, pro tip, don't give anybody a lawn job. You also might want to take time to meet with Luke Nowacki, because there'll be no stoppage of the meeting on the way for him to pick up his wig. And if you listen to the Drew Lane Show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Decades of worrying about his client's money may have made him bald as Homer Simpson, but he throws no rug up top. He actually has a little brush cut.
He's got hair.
He's got a little salad up there. He just keeps it high and tight. He kind of looks like a jarhead. I think that's, for a guy who really cares about people, he's very intimidating when you see him.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's got shoulders like a friggin', Chris Spielman.
Works out like a monster.
Yeah. Sure, you might want someone hot to manage your money.
Well, there you go.
I find him attractive. However, while Sydney Sweeney may have good genes, she ain't got no securities license. Epstein is also unavailable for meetings, thank goodness. So what the hell? Give the ugly bald guy a shot. I can't believe I'm bald, said 225 is my weight, not my benching.
Yeah, you're not going to get that.
That's okay. Anyways, call or text Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. That's what I did. That's what my daughter did last week. Got some good advice. And you know what she learned? First of all, always look out for those who feel like they're alone. And second, when you call Luke, He'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. member FINRA SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
Well, before we get too deep, let me just tell you who my geek of the week is.
Yeah.
Whoever at GM decided to put the paint code on a sticker in the trunk of a 1985 Buick Riviera. Just makes no sense whatsoever.
So that person made the decision 40 years ago, though.
Still a geek.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. I mean,
really?
Oh, yeah. It's not good.
I was going to stick with a school theme because I don't know if you've noticed, but there have been at least 4 active shooter hoaxes in the university system. I mean, school's been back for colleges for what, a month now? Not even a month. 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think this first day of class at Michigan State was Monday.
There you go. Yeah, but last weekend, I think Villanova had one in Philadelphia. The University of Tennessee had one. Arkansas had one yesterday. And then South Carolina was the big one. And South Carolina, that's a little different. I don't know.
Cox.
Have you seen the video of the guy?
No.
It's a guy walking with an umbrella.
Okay.
And the umbrella has a strap on it.
Was he in the Avengers? Patrick McNee? Okay, that may be a deep cut. Sorry, we'll keep going.
But he had an umbrella, and people saw this dude from a distance walking with a backpack and an umbrella.
The British Avengers, sorry.
Oh, there you go. And
Emma Peel?
I was thinking Marvels.
No, sorry. Yeah, that's the difference between the 40th reunion and the 30th reunion.
But there were all these TikToks, and even Nancy Mace put out a picture of the guy walking with his umbrella because people thought he had a gun, that he was an active shooter. And it spread like wildfire. So everything got shut down.
And of course, Nancy Mace posted, I defend his right to carry this high-powered weapon on campus.
That's the other thing, too. It's open carry. It's South Carolina. It's open carry. It's not an active shooter. But they still, I don't know if you can open carry on a university or not. But, they had to raid in the library to take this guy down. This guy just had an umbrella. That one's a little different than the other ones where they just made up the hoax that there was an active shooter and everything gets shut down.
Wait, so he went to I think
he was walking to the library with his umbrella.
No threat. You're going to a library. I mean, there's 2 reasons people go to the library now. They're dorks and to jerk off. I mean,
but if you look jerk off.
Believe me, I'm telling you.
I know.
As a reporter at the student paper,
stories,
the number of police reports is like, well, we arrested somebody else. We're looking for somebody else in the stacks. I'm like, what are the stacks? That's where the books are.
Oh my God, the stacks of the ugly at Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how in terms of weak moves, how is it like? Hey, are you looking for that chemistry book? Would you like to look at this? Or you're interested in biology? How about, it's like, dude, that's...
See, pre-internet, that was just like the crew. That's like where you would hook up with people, I guess. It was the library. That's a weird place to hook up.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're going to be enticed by somebody punching the munchkin right by the Nat Geos. I mean,
gross.
Come on.
So, I don't know. I guess that was my geek of the week. I'm sick of these active shooter hoaxes. So it really upends everything.
Who are perpetrating the hoaxes? The people?
I don't know.
Or just
it's almost like they're
heightened awareness.
I think Villanova was almost like a swatting, like it was just a call from a spoof number, and so but they don't, as they should. They're not going to take any chances, and everything gets locked down.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Every Spartan knows.
Well, that's why it's not funny, right?
Yeah. Once every 150 years is plenty. So yeah, no. Well, though, yeah, okay. If you're making light of campus safety. You for sure. You're our geek of the semester.
Yeah, there you go.
Again. There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
So, Mark, what was your high school graduation song?
Oh, that was another fight that ended up blowing up because of the whole retreat battle. We wanted it to be Celebrate by Kool and the Gang.
Okay.
It's fun.
Sure.
And then Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Well, it sounds like some of them should have stayed, but they went.
Yeah.
Including the class president.
But then when all that stuff blew up, it was like nobody wanted to pick. So they just picked The Rose. Do you know that song? The Rose?
Yeah, by Bette Midler. Yes. Well, it's got that kind of sappy.
Some say lie.
Yeah,
which none of us knew. None of us liked it. They just picked it for us because they picked everything for us because the senior class kind of fell apart.
It had the slow dance vibe, though. I mean, that was
but at a ceremony for graduation, our class is a little wild. We wanted something fun.
Yeah,
they shot it down.
I all through high school, I always desperately wanted to have a girlfriend or date girls or have girls interested in me.
You didn't have a girlfriend in high school? I don't believe that.
No, I
Never?
had a girl I met at a party. We dated briefly, and then I had a girl I took to senior prom who I dated a little bit after that. But I found out
so bitter.
later. Well, no, this is how you think about it. I look back on different situations in high school. I was like, oh no, that person was really interested. Or, oh my God.
Oh, you just didn't read this.
Because I'm so stupid and because I was so into my own stuff, and you're just like, you're so blind in high school. I'm sitting like,
you're idiots, man. That's part of being a kid at that age. You're dumb, and you're allowed to be dumb.
Oh my God. And I'm thinking, one girl in particular I really liked. I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, she was sending like every sign, and like if it happened a year later, I'd be like, oh, yeah, what's up, baby?
She going to be at the reunion?
I don't know. I don't want to say her name because she's probably ashamed that she ever showed any interest in me. But
now we know the real reason.
Yeah, you're so clueless. Well, our high school theme was Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, because all the John Hughes movies were so big back then. And so you'd think I would pick a 1985 song for our Room 7609, but no, we're going to go back to Mike, who had a great suggestion that we kind of unearthed from our archives that kind of got lost in the mail. So Mark, this one I'm gonna give you a little warning. It's a little ponderous, and Mike knows it, as he'll acknowledge in a minute. He says, as you recently featured the Suicide Machines, I felt obliged to at least nominate the literal OGs of Detroit ska, Gangster Fun. The Suicide Machines 1991 logo of a syringe-wielding Dr. Kevorkian is an homage to the cover of Gangster Fun's 1989 debut, Come See, Come Ska. That's for all
the
you,
cover.
For all you French well, that doesn't look like...
That doesn't look like the other one. But
that's the Suicide Machines. This is the cover from Come See.
Well, you said it was
Ska.
an homage, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, they're saying that the Suicide Machines cover. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Okay, anyway. Back on track. As an homage, you're right, to the cover of Gangster Fun's 1989 debut, Come See, Come Ska, which features a pair of dancing mobsters toting machine guns. Mario's Hideout is probably my favorite song off this one. That bouncy piano hook would drop perfectly into a Guy Ritchie movie. Unlike the Suicide Machines, over a Wikipedia page a mile long, much of Gangster Fun's checkered past is lost to the ages. But one of my favorite stories involves them playing the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor circa 1994. Mark might have been.
Maybe I was there.
Might have been there. Snuck in. They supposedly lugged cans of paint up to the dressing room and painted over all the signatures with their name. I personally thought this was hilarious.
I'm sure the pig didn't like that.
But management was less than pleased, and they were not invited back. Like all tall tales, I had no idea how much of this was true or exaggerated. In 2005, I saw another great ska band, Regatta 69, at the Blind Pig, and they mentioned their lack of a place to crash after the show. Sleeping in a van sucks, so I offered my house, and they invited me up to the dressing room to write down directions. I had never graced those rickety stairs before. After reaching the top and ducking my head to step inside, one wall still had remnants of the words "fun" in black paint, and I burst out laughing.
Oh, wow.
I told them the story and now had visual proof it actually happened. Despite ceasing operations in 2001...
Think of what they would have painted over, though, because Pearl Jam played there,
Pig,
Nirvana played there before 94.
The Replacements, maybe The Clash, maybe, you name it.
I mean, almost every grunge act went through there.
Major college town, major venue, anybody on the way up, I mean... Unbelievable.
Early 90s, yeah.
That's sacrilege. But of course, they were gangster fun. Despite ceasing operations in 2001, they occasionally reform, most recently in 2018 at the Suicide Machines annual Christmas show. Speaking of annual holiday shows, did anybody else go to the show they used to have at St. Andrews Hall to raise money for a producer on the punk scene named Steve? I can't remember his last name, who died. I got
Albini? Not Steve Albini.
No, I can't remember his name, but I got a Feisty Cadavers T-shirt there. I saw Horse perform there, which Horse, Horse. Never made it big. Great band. The best part about him is the bass player had the most expressive face ever. Great band, good fun. Anyway, I think last time they played may have been at Smalls in Hamtramck many years ago. Sorry, I digress. So this live version of the Jungle Book's I Want to Be Like You, prefaced with the intro from Jay Giles, printer problems. Must have got lost, is fire. In the unlikely event this letter makes it so far, please include a PSA that the mighty Gangster Fund, this is worth the wait, folks. It's a good story, well told. A long story, well told. Shall rise from the grave. The Gangster Fund shall rise from the grave once more to headline the 2025 Labor Day Festival, Monday, September 1st at 9 p.m. Get there early to place bets on which skanking middle-aged dad will require medical attention first. And heads up, it won't be me. Those 65 pounds are all in the right places. So here's Gangster Fun. Thanks to Mike. Skank your hearts out.
Mario's Hideout. My brain's gone dead, my mouth don't work, my palms don't sweat, my feet don't jerk. There's four of them, there's one of me, no help since I don't license it. Blackjack saying across my head, shouldn't have left my nice one bet. I lights her out, I feel no more. This is not a total war. Mario's Hideout. Mario's Hideout. Cause they're taking me to Mario's Hideout. Thrown in the car, I drop like lead. Won't be long until I'm dead. Must be a dream, it couldn't be. Car filled up with killers and me. That car spelled on doing 95. Not very long till we arrive. They sum it up, drove on by. Got to a dancing, throws gone dry. Mario's Hideout. Mario's Hideout. Cause they're taking me to Mario's Hideout. Car stop, they push me out and start spinning all about. Knock the door, they rang the bell. Who's standing there? We couldn't tell. Ugly Guido guard the door. Looked pretty funny being 5'4". By himself, he sounded lonely. He backs at membership only. Mario's Hideout. Mario's Hideout. Cause they're taking me to Mario's Hideout. Man, this sucks, my hands were tied from the money to pay for the ride. Cabin style, he knew where I went. I sat back and owned up in the rush of air, felt very good. Got from there as fast as I could. Tire mom held his work, made them feel like total jerks. Mario's Hideout. Mario's Hideout. Cause they're taking me. Yeah, they're taking me. You know they're taking me.
Yeah.
Damn, that is fun. And they're a little...
Ska is fun.
A little gangsta. The Hamtramck is going to be popping this weekend. There's... have you heard of the canoe races before?
No.
So apparently this is... I don't know if these canoes are made of concrete or what the gag is, but they're on the street. They're not in the water. And everybody hammers them with water balloons as they go by. August was telling me about this, and he said the amazing thing about it, and it sounds pretty amazing to begin with, is that everybody who attends then goes into the street and picks up the little scraps of balloons that are left after they throw, whether they hit the canoes. So this is a pretty wild thing.
Labor Day at noon. There they are.
Yeah, and if you're a soulmate, you can see this. Mark's putting a graphic up. See, there's another benefit for being a soulmate. You can see my beautiful wife too, so that's always good. Jeff Fry, you don't need to look at that.
Boy, that looks perfectly Hamtramck, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Look at those water balloons.
Nuts. Oh, yeah. The streets are lined with revelers. So lots of great stuff going on this weekend. And perhaps one of the most fun things going on. It's an annual event, and you need to check it out. Labor Day weekend, it's the Muscle Beach Music Festival at the Caju Cafe. On Thursday, the Dash Hounds, or the Dachshunds, I guess, depending on...
The Wiener Dogs?
Well, I mean, it says dash hounds, but I've seen people pronounce it Dachshunds. So I don't know. That's weird. Now they pronounce Datsun Nissan, so who's to tell? The Whiskey Charmers are going to be there. The Blue Flowers on Thursday. Friday, Big Salad. And, of course, if you're a Grateful Dead fan, you know Super Crunch. They're a regular there at the Cadju. They'll be performing on Sunday. This is at the Beer Garden, Muscle Beach, outdoors. This weather is perfect for this. Saturday, the Loose Koozies. Not sure what that means. The Catfish Mafia, Jim McCarty and Mystery Train. They'll be playing inside. Sunday, the Bellmarks, Killer Diller, Zimmerman Twins, the Mugs, the Brothers Groove. And Monday, Motor City Josh Big Band with Dave Edwards, Pat Smiley with Greg Nagy, Social Work, Eric Goebel, and the Flying Crowbars. That's Monday. And, of course, it's Muscle Madness on Mondays. We got karaoke on Wednesdays. It's all kinds of good stuff at the Cadju. To find out more about what's going on, go to CadjuCafe.com. And if you have a great story and a great song, that was an awesome song, like Mike, send it our way at mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. Of course, we want the story more than we want the song, but when you can go 2 for 2 and a local band, damn. Mark Ridley's kid wrote the script for
the Nick Cage movie. Is that what you're talking about?
Renwick. Renfield.
Yes.
And the running joke in there is that Ska sucks. Yeah. And this girl who Renfield tries to rescue from a bad boyfriend, when she's confessing about how abusive it is and everything, he's like, and he likes ska. And everybody's like, oh! Yeah. And when Renfield goes to kill him, when he goes there, there's, you can see some graffiti in their drug hideout that says, better think of your life, time to plan for the future. I'm mangling the lyrics, but, from the specials. And then when he brings, Doug is his name, he brings Doug back to Nicolas Cage, who's Nosferatu, to eat, to replenish him. He's like, Doug is trash. But other than young Mr. Ridley, I like Scott.
I like that movie too. It's a good movie.
It's
really fun,
hilarious movie. And I never knew who Awkwafina was till I watched that. She's
everywhere.
Funny as hell. Yeah, she's really good. It's a great movie, so check it out. But anyways, even Sean likes Scott, so that tells you something. Max Prokop giving us our beautiful music bed. I think he said it's called like
Buzz Me Mellow.
Buzz Me Mellow, right. And I think it's cool ass shit or whatever. But Max is going to be playing at the reunion along with the Smiths United, so there's a super bonus. Maybe that's why I'm going to the reunion. I can't get enough of those guys. Yeah. And if you don't catch them with the class of 85 from Grosse Pointe South or Grosse Pointe North, they will be playing at the Magic Bag on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving for the annual Thanksgiving is Murder show. Great gig. Anyways, I want to take this opportunity before the music runs out to thank our newest soulmate, Dee, who gave us £4, which tells me that it must be converted from British currency, which means she's across the pond and appreciates our voices as they travel through the ether and land somewhere in the UK. So thank you for becoming another soulmate. When you're a soulmate, you get the bonus episode. We'll be recording one shortly for this month. You get to watch the show, you avoid the insertion ads, and you get the show before anyone else. And most importantly, you keep us coming back week after week. Sean gave us a one-time donation. We always appreciate those. That's the old-fashioned way. We earned it. You can go to mlsoulofdetroit.com, hit the Venmo or the PayPal button. It's that easy. Just ask Sean. He says, thanks for the interview with Wetzel. That, of course, is Dan Wetzel of ESPN, who was with us last week. Shared his article with my 17-year-old.
Oh, good.
And if you didn't hear Dan, he talked about, as Mark mentioned, kind of the kid who had it all in Marquette. Great athlete, good-looking, girlfriend, prom king, who got drawn into a little extortion thing because late at night his guard was down. He was a little curious. He sent a picture he shouldn't have picked.
One photo. That's all it took.
And somebody tried to destroy him, and in fact, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unlike most of these cases, these guys were brought to justice. Check out Dan's story. You can find a link to it. I'll put it again in our show notes this week. powerful story. You know, it's Wetzel, so you know it's going to be good. And the important thing, if you can't read it, here's what we took out of this. When somebody hits you up like that, ignore them.
Yep,
Do not respond. If you made the mistake to send them something, you are better off just leaving it there and seeing what happens, because if you respond, if you engage, they know they got a fish and they're going to try and wring you dry. So there's something which I'm sure Sean shared with his 17-year-old, share with everybody. You know, my mother-in-law, my blessed mother-in-law, Tresa's mom, got rooked by somebody who had a young guy call her, sounded like my nephew, said he was in jail.
Yeah.
I need help. She's like, is this you, Jacob? It doesn't sound like you, but it's because I'm in jail, Grandma. I'm scared. I need you to go to Home Depot and buy 4 $300 gift cards. Now, luckily, and this is the craziest thing, my uncle was in from Montreal and said, what's this all about? And they figured it out and they stopped it before it went too far. This happens to old people too. Ignore them. Ignore them. They will go find somebody who's willing to play their silly games. So back to Sean. Sean says, I think real sources may ring more true than just Dad telling him to be cautious. In other words, thanks, Dan, because as anybody who's coached their kids knows, you can tell them everything. They don't hear anything. The next dad or mom or somebody to tell them, they're like, oh, you can't believe what I learned today. I'm like, you never heard that before? No. Okay, that's fine as long as you heard it now. So yeah, thanks Uncle Dan for helping teach Sean's kid and all of our kids a lesson that could, no joke, save a life. Yeah. So Sean says, not quite a real soulmate, but I sent a bit of dough your way to keep you keeping on. Keep it stiff. So thanks, Sean. Nice. We do really appreciate that. I have one small piece of feedback here, Mark.
Oh boy.
From DJ Weiser, who
good guy.
Great guy. Soulmate binged the show when we had like 250 episodes, it's amazing he's still compos mentis. I think he cut out before we got to Dan's story last week, because his comment on Patreon, and we can get comments from you on Patreon too, says, sorry this was so boring. I hate college sports, because we were talking about the
Michigan sanctions
controversy, not controversy, in Ann Arbor. So hey, DJ Weiser, we appreciate the feedback. Point taken. We try not to go too heavy on sports, but when the evil empire gets laid low and exposed,
it's kind of hard when it's one of the things you and I just absolutely love.
Yeah, no, I think people expect us to talk about it, and
I told Drew I know I have a college football problem because this weekend I was just looking all over like, why can't I find Idaho State and UNLV? Like, why can I not find this game anywhere on TV? It's like, who gives a shit?
I would have liked to have watched Kansas State and Iowa State playing in Ireland. I mean,
it was a great. It was a sloppy game in the first half, but entertaining as hell.
Yeah, who knew it was going to rain in Ireland?
Yeah, nice grass.
Yeah, my cousin Nick will tell you. It'll rain. But anyways, please keep your feedback coming. mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. We love to hear from you, even if it's not always, complimentary. Usually we can rely on our in-house peanut gallery, Sean Windsor, for the negative feedback. But
I'm electric.
He is electric. He's
hopefully he'll be back next week.
He's recharging, and he will be back next week. We expect Erica Erickson back next week as well, so there's something to look forward to. And we will soon be posting our new bonus episode. If you are just a soulmate, or you don't want to be a soulmate, but you want to check out one of our great bonus episodes, like Scott Bernstein talking about the state of the mob in Detroit, Bernie Smilovitz telling some amazing stories about when he got into how he got into TV, and some stories that didn't make it on our show. You can buy those episodes individually. No obligation to get them after that. Find the one you like. Go to Patreon. They'll make it easy for you to give us your money, which we will use for a good cause, like the bar at the reunion this weekend, and also to locate Mark's class president, who apparently is
I have no idea what happened.
He's at large.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm supposed to be able to say this, but maybe Jeff Fry is looking for him because he's a really big government job.
Well, that really stung.
I heard he was hung too. So Jeff Fry, kiss my ass anyway. Sorry.
I love how much it bothers you.
blind woman thought he was hot. I thought every woman was blind when I was in high school. It doesn't seem fair.
He's still succeeding, too.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah. Well, I'm a late bloomer, as you can tell, so someday I'll make it. Anyway, we appreciate you being with us, Mark. It's great to have the whole place to ourselves for once. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you can catch Mark on the...
We're not more efficient or anything.
Drew Lane Show.
What? What's that? What's happening?
This is like Sean trying to get us out by then saying something that keeps it going. But until next week, if I survive the reunion, we'll be back with more Soul of Detroit. And until then, we rely on our friend Cyrus to take us out.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
In a cold world,
wise up, folks. We're all alone out there.
You still need your friends to keep you warm.
I don't know what people think about me. You don't have that problem here. You know I don't like you.
I'll be right back.
The Soul of Detroit.